Hello, everyone. Today, I've got Chris Bridges, who is the founder of Tacit Legal and COO, I believe. Chris is one of our sponsors for Future Law UK, which is in just under 2 weeks from now. Chris, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and Tacit Legal?
Yeah, sure. Tacit Legal is I guess we're a specialist commercial tech and media law firm, but with a bit of a difference in that we don't believe in throwing the traditional model at every problem. So we actually have a product business, and that's what we're going to be kind of showing off at Future Lawyer. So our flagship product is Tilda, which helps in-house legal teams work more effectively with their sales and procurement teams, kind of combining our experienced lawyers with technology and LLMs to provide clients with kind of law firm assurance at an AI price point. On the other side, we also kind of have a more bespoke business, which is kind of gives the experience that you'd expect from any kind of city TMT practice if that more productized model doesn't quite fit your needs.
Great. So you have a direct product offering, but you also have a managed service offering from what I understand. Can you tell us a little bit as to what sets you apart from some of the competitors on the market and how you have been able to keep on taking on market share? You shared with me just before we started this interview that this year has been particularly positive for you guys. You seem to be making good headways into the market. How you have been able to achieve this?
Yeah, sure. We're definitely not short on competition at the moment. So Tilda, our products in the kind of contract review space. So yeah, lots of people coming into the market at the moment. I think our biggest differentiator is our ability to kind of bring together the best of both worlds. So we kind of augment senior lawyers with large language models, meaning we provide kind of an insured and reliable outcome at a price that, in a good way, surprises our clients and gives kind of AI vendors and ALSPs, which I can never say in one go, a run for their money. And then I guess beside that, I think it's, we're a turnkey solution. So clients can build up their playbooks from our kind of authored library in less than 30 minutes. And because we achieve that kind of customization through configuration, we're able to standardize those kind of playbooks across all of our clients, which means we don't really have any hefty minimum volume requirements as a lot of people do.
So great value in terms of cost, and easy onboarding is what you say are quite key points of difference compared to some of the others on the market. Can you share with us some of your biggest customer wins over the last year? And if possible, are you able to tell us why some of those customers have chosen you compared to some of the other solutions on the market?
Yeah, sure. So I think it's probably too tough to pick a favorite. So I'm going to share a project that we're onboarding at the moment, which I think kind of perfectly captures our USP. So the prospect's a tech business. They've got hundreds of customer contracts to negotiate over the next year or so, following an acquisition of another business. And they've been told increasing headcount isn't an option. To make matters worse, their customers are almost exclusively heavily lawyered, banks, insurers, who buy on their own terms, which means, the quality of the markups that they're sending back to their customers really matters, and the AI markups just aren't really going to cut it for them. So we've been able to design a solution for them that isn't trying to fit a square peg in the round hole. So we have initial reviews being carried out by our product Tilda, which leverages large language models. The output of that review is then passed over to our kind of more bespoke team, who then go away and prepare a really surgical markup that they can send back over to their customers. And then the in-house team's able to kind of handle it from negotiations from there, with Tacit Legal's senior lawyers acting as a kind of overspill if they need it. I think the best thing for me in the whole thing is that I actually reviewed, so in the pilot, the contract that we reviewed for the pilot and marked up on the pilot, I actually reviewed about 5 years ago for another client. And our current day solution is about a sixth of the price as it was back then, with a much better outcome. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Exciting. And what would you say has been a standout feature that has surprised or delighted your customer most, that perhaps maybe surprised you, as you know, as someone responsible for moving forward the development of that product?
Yeah, I think I've got two actually. And I think probably what's most surprising for me, at least, is their simplicity. So it just shows that sometimes, the big ticket features are not necessarily the ones that wow everyone. So for our kind of more customer-centric businesses, who you're trying to get customer contracts reviewed, it's relative risk scores. So for every single contract we review, we provide a relative risk score so you can kind of benchmark every contract against each other. And actually, our clients are taking that and then using it to make really smart kind of resourcing decisions. So, should we send this contract to external counsel? Should we be doing it internally? Should we be saying to the business, actually, this is one that you can self-serve on because it's lower risk? Or even in some cases, we actually have one client who's just auto-approving all customer contracts that fall below a certain risk threshold, which is a massive impact on the legal team in terms of reducing workload. And I think the second one for me is probably more for a procurement use case, so where people are using it to review contracts for buying things. We allow procurement teams to generate a list of amendments using LLMs with a click of a button. So it's just a really, really simple, generates a list of bullet points they can copy and paste into an email, send them back over to the vendor, asking them to make the changes, review the output, and they've pushed all the work back to the vendor, and making sure that the contract is ticking all the boxes that the legal team needs it to. I think that last one's a bit of a Marmite feature. I think most clients tell us they love it because we're trying to get negotiations out of Word, which kind of increases deal velocity. But yeah, some people do just want to be in Word, so we can't please everyone.
I've come across a report this morning, published by another customer of ours that surveyed, I think, about 160 in-house teams. And one of the findings of the report was that a lot of in-house teams, especially of scale-ups, seem to be static at the minute. Regardless of growing revenues for those organizations, that headcount or either is reduced or remains static, meaning that the workload substantially increases. Have you seen similar trends with some of your customers, and is it where really a solution like Tacit can really make a dent in those increasing workloads?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something we're hearing a lot. And I think it probably comes from the fact that legal is such a knowledge business, and everyone is expecting LLMs to have probably a bigger than a bigger than the size of the legal team effect on legal work. So yeah, that's definitely something we're seeing. People coming to us saying, we've got headcount freezers. It's not necessarily a budget freeze. We are able to spend externally, but we just need that flexibility, and we need to be able to show that we are, driving the needle forward on using different delivery models. But
is there particular industries that you seem a better adoption of your solution? Like, do you have success? For example, you mentioned a solution that is servicing the financial services sector. Are there certain industries that you guys are more successful at?
Yeah, for sure. On the customer side, where the client's kind of reviewing customer contracts, it does tend to be on the financial services side, and that's just because their clients are kind of saying, no, we're using our SaaS template, take it or leave it. So there's then a bit of a job as what do you do if you aren't able to contract on standard terms anymore? And that's quite a resource intensive thing that if you don't have the headcount, it's really difficult to respond to. So that's definitely on that side. On the procurement side, where people are buying things on standard paper, it tends to be not necessarily a particular industry, but organizations of a certain size that have quite a mature procurement function, generally is a really good fit. If you've got really mature procurement function, you could plug our tool in and they can pretty much self-serve with very, very little input from legal.
And has your way into those organizations been through the procurement teams or through the legal teams?
It's an interesting one. So I guess it's, are you selling to the budget holder or the end user? So I would say it's much easier to get the first conversation when we go through procurement, because I guess because they are the people who are feeling the pain in terms of service levels, or deal velocity, etc. But ultimately we do end up speaking to both legal and procurement. But yeah, in terms of the best way in, I think it lands best with kind of the end user, which is kind of procurement or sales.
I'm only asking because I do tend to get mixed sort of feedback. Some organizations which seem to be playing in the same field, tend to get better results with the legal teams. Others tend to get better results with the procurement. So it's always good to hear what your experience is. And in terms of the size of organizations, what were the size of organizations that you most commonly work with?
Yeah, so again, it really differs depending on whether it's customer side or supplier side. Side, it tends to be, I guess, less than 100 million of revenue. I tend to go off the in-house team size, and maybe they've got like 2 or 3 in-house lawyers, and they're a scale-up tech business, either VC backed or private equity backed, quite often, and it's usually they'll find the need for us off the back of like an acquisition or something. On the supply side, it tends to be kind of organizations in the probably 500 million plus turnover category, up to maybe 5-10 billion turnover.
And you say that it's common that people get to pick your solution or onboard your solution post acquisition. Then I would imagine that in the last year or so, M&A is somewhat resurrecting. It's been in a little bit of an arrested development up until mid next year. Have you seen this impact your customer acquisition velocity at the minute, the increased activity in the M&A space?
Yeah, I guess because we feel it probably further down the timeline than say like a corporate lawyer or an MA lawyer might, because it's all usually kind of post acquisition. Now that we've bought the business, what do we do with it? How do we integrate the customers? So I think we're hearing murmurs of it, but I wouldn't say we're actually feeling the impact yet. So actually, I was just talking to one of our clients the other day, saying he was talking to other GCs at other businesses like his who were all saying they had a very similar problem, where they've just acquired someone, legal team is the same size as it was 2 years ago, if not smaller, but they had X number of contracts that they were going to have to deal with in addition to their ordinary workload. So yeah, it definitely sounds like it's one coming over the horizon now.
And have you guys sort of worked with or somewhat partnered with M&A practices on the law firm side, where obviously they formalize the deal and then they support the customer post acquisition and team up with you guys to essentially make that next step smoother?
Yeah, it's crossed our minds, but it's a market we haven't really tapped into yet. I guess just the in-house side of it's keeping us busy enough. But yeah, it's definitely somewhere where we could help in the future. So yeah.
And in terms of features that are upcoming on the horizon for 2025, what can your users expect, or what can your future users anticipate that personally excites you to introduce to the market?
Yeah, so I think the thing that I'm most excited about, I guess, is through providing this managed service using our own contract review tool that we've built in-house. We're really able to identify where the blind spots are with LLMs in a way that I don't think that many vendors are able to do at the moment. Every single one of our reviews is checked by a senior lawyer. If there's an error, it gets something wrong, that triggers a process for one of our partners to dive back in and fine tune our knowledge to make sure it doesn't happen again. So I think in a year's time, I probably see us in a place where we're opening up that LLM review tool for our clients to use directly themselves, kind of as an unmanaged service. And I think we'll be able to offer best-in-class confidence and accuracy, and actually just be really transparent with clients on what risks perform well and which ones don't. So they can kind of, say, well, actually those ones can be completely self-service and those ones we're less confident about the accuracy. So that's, more of a triage use case. Yeah, so I think most product people would call it dog fooding. So, building the best possible tool by using it yourself first. So yeah, that's what I'm most excited about. Is, just really road testing it over the next year and then giving it to clients to use directly.
And with Future Lawyer coming up, who are the legal professionals that you're looking to meet and engage with at the conference?
Oh, that's a good question. So yeah, I think it's those people that are exactly as you brought up earlier. They're being driven to deliver more with less headcount, and the only real way to do that is to really have a look at how they're delivering the service. I think we are particularly good for people that don't have big legal ops teams. So, trying to find the headspace when you've got a million other things to juggle and no legal ops team to implement this stuff is really difficult. So yeah, I would say if you don't have a legal ops team, or you have a very small legal ops team, then we're kind of in the sweet spot because it really is a turnkey solution.
And my last question before we wrap up, looking ahead, what's Tacit Legal's vision for the future?
Oof, big question. How do you mean? In the kind of
from product
the whole
innovation
industry,
standpoint,
or
from a market development and market expansion standpoint, what's next? What's next for the product and what's next for the business?
yeah, so I think the main thing on a kind of a micro scale for us is that getting the LLM review tool into clients' hands directly, which kind of should reduce the price point for our clients, by another 50%, which I think is going to be huge. I think the wider market is quite interesting. I think there's that thing that you always get the pace of change wrong. But my suspicion is the next 5 years, actually, probably not a lot is going to change. But in the kind of 5 to 10 years time, I think we're going to have need to have a real push as an industry on upskilling people in more than just being lawyers or more than just being developers. I think the future is having lots of Jack, well, I can't remember what the phrase is now. But I think it's the word for it is a polymath. Someone who is quite good at lots of things. Jack of all trades, master of none. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. For everyone attending Future Lawyer UK, Chris will be there with his team. Please walk up to him, connect, have a quick demo of Tacit Legal. And for anyone that may not be attending for whatever reasons, we're going to tag Chris onto this video. Please connect with him on LinkedIn and see how Tacit and Chris's team can be of support, especially if you are a legal professional in a small legal team with growing needs. This solution seems to be the right choice for you. So thank you very much, Chris. I look forward to having you at Future Lawyer UK, and we'll see you there in 2 weeks.